Welcome to the Getting Started tutorial for the Impact Estimator for Buildings. When you first open the program, this is what you'll see. An empty workspace on the right and an empty project tree on the left. To get things started, you have to open a new project. You can do that in the File menu here with New, or you can click this icon down here, New, as well. This opens the Add Project dialog box, and this is where we determine our project level data. First thing we need to do is give the project a name, call it tutorial. You have to choose the project location. The choices, there are 8 US locations and 8 Canadian locations. One of the US locations is called USA. That is a US average location, and it's the location we recommend you choose if your city is not represented in this list. But for today, we'll just choose Minneapolis, for example. The most important thing about choosing a project location is that that will determine the electrical and energy grids and transportation grids for the materials and for the fuels and for electricity in your project. It has a big bearing on the final results of your project. The building type is next. We can choose from one of 8 building types. The building type will affect replacement schedules for different materials such as windows, roofing materials, and claddings. I'm going to choose industrial just as an example. We also have the building life expectancy. It can be anywhere between 1 and 999 years if you want. It defaults to 60. That is a very common building life expectancy for LCA studies, so I'm going to leave it at 60, but you can change it to whatever you want. The units, you can choose the units you want. SI System International or metric units or imperial. I'm going to choose imperial here. Over here we have the building height, which is defaulted to about 10 feet. You can set it any number you want. The building height is important. It determines the on-site construction energy of lifting materials by crane to an average of half the height of your building. So putting in the building height here is important to your final results, and it should be noted too that it should include the total height of the building from any subground floors all the way to the roof. A gross floor area here we can put in. This number doesn't affect results, but it does affect if you want to view your graphs on a per square meter basis, and this will affect those graphs only. Synchronize assembly display units. This is used if, for instance, you did your project in Imperial and you wanted to change all of your units to SI. You can change SI here and then click Synchronize, and that will change all the units on all the assembly forms in your project. Project number and project description. Here are text boxes. You can put in whatever you want here to remind yourself of what the project is. The operating energy consumption button at the bottom here is where you input operating energy consumption. I'm not going to do that right now. This will be covered in another video, but this is what the box looks like, and this is where you would input your operating energy consumption values that you get from an energy simulation tool. As with all assembly boxes and project form boxes in Impact Estimator, there's a help button at the bottom here. If you click on it, a help file related to that box will open up, and you've got here a description of the box, a description of each input field, and links to other help files that relate to this box as well. I can close that now. So we've started our new project. I'm going to click OK here. The project gets added up here to the project tree. It doesn't have any assemblies below it. It's not expandable. If you double click on it again, you get a modify project box, and you can change any of these values you want. Once I've created a new project, I usually save it right away. You can do that in the File menu with Save or Save As, or with the Save button here above the tree. In a new project that hasn't been saved before, when you click Save, it's the same thing as Save As because it doesn't have a project name. It will default here to your the project name, but you can rename it if you want. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to leave it as default. You click Save here, and now we save that project. If we made changes to it and change something here, let's say we change the building height to 200, I can click OK here, and then when I click Save again, you don't see anything happens, but the file has been saved. If we were done, we're not, of course, but if we were done, we could go up here and close the file with this icon or in the File menu, and I click Close, and then we have an empty tree again. If I want to open an existing file like that one, I just click the Open button here. Here's my file tutorial, double-click on it, and it appears in the tree. So now we have a new project started, and we're ready to start adding assemblies. But that concludes the Getting Started tutorial.